Welcome back to another Jazz basketball breakdown. Good win tonight. Important win, like you noted.
Important win. I totally expected us to most likely not win any games on this trip.
Right.
We got a little fortunate.
No Embiid.
No Joel Embiid tonight, which meant we had to win this game.
Yes, 100%.
Had to win this game. And it felt like we came out being able to get the shots that we wanted, exert our will right from the start.
Came out with a really good game plan against Tyrese Maxey. Dunn obviously didn't score tonight, but matched up against Maxey and really made his life hell.
Absolutely. They didn't react very well to the box and one that we were running. It felt like if we hadn't been so sloppy with turnovers and with threes, it felt like we could have run that thing by 30.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, even somebody commented on that last video from last night that we came out really kind of scared almost in that game last night against
I agree with that.
the Celtics. And tonight, like you said, we came out almost a little pissed. Markkanen came out really strong.
Yep.
Lauri Markkanen ends up having a huge game.
Absolutely efficient game. These are the type of Markkanen games we expect, right?
And
he's so dang good.
And what's wild is how much did he spend kind of end of the second quarter, end of the game, not really getting the ball much and kind of more just spacing the floor and getting what comes to him, and still has 33 and 13.
You called out the one moment that was in the fourth quarter, like minute and a half, 2 minutes left, right? Where we're kind of running out the clock. Markkanen's there in position to get the ball from, I think it's Fontecchio. Clarkson runs over, pushes him off. I got
literally
it. Yeah, I got
runs over to, so Clarkson fumbles, kind of stumbles, loses the ball. Fontecchio picks it up, and instead of him just getting out of the way and being like, okay, my bad, Markkanen's wide open, and he's just like, nope, my ball. Give me the ball.
He really does put his hand on him. Like, no, I got it. I have 6 turnovers. I've got this under control.
Yeah, and so 5. Come on.
Was it only 5?
So Lauri has a huge game, 33 points, 13 rebounds, and it seems almost easy for him. It's one of those games where it's like, man, if we really push the issue, you could have had 40 or 50.
Absolutely. And Sexton ends up having a very good game. The mean, crazy eye Sexton was back, and he was looking to move the ball as well while he was doing it. He had 13 assists. No, he had 10 assists.
He only had 10.
Because Markkanen had the 13 rebounds. He had 10 assists. The amount of times that he was looking for John Collins.
I say only 10 assists.
Right, 10 assists. Heck of a game. And I mean, he was torching them going towards the hoop.
And there were plays where, he could have had plenty more where, he has a play where we're kind of a half-fast break, and you can see him kind of slowing up, expecting Markkanen to come behind him, and he can lay it off for an open three, and Markkanen ends up rounding him. But he was actually looking for that. He was looking for that pass, not necessarily looking for a shot. I mean, there was a point where he had 9 assists, but he was on 4 of 9 shooting. He wasn't going crazy with shots.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome, really good game. And defensively down the stretch, we decided not to bring in Chris Dunn on Tyrese Maxey, but Colin Sexton ends up doing a really good job and just runs his guts out.
The amount of times that he had an explosive run to the hoop, finish with his left hand, skids on the back of his neck, past the basketball standard, and is already up, beating his guy back down the court. Amazing. Fantastic effort by that youngster. Man.
They tried to put Oubre on him for a little while, and I think it wasn't necessarily on him. We were just searching for that switch with Oubre, and man, Oubre was just in shambles trying to guard Colin Sexton.
And he goes into the key, and he's not afraid, gets up, puts up a short-range shot on Paul Reed, goes to the hoop, goes to the far side on Mo Bamba. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The amount of space this guy can create, his explosiveness, 0 to 100 in such a short amount of space is pretty darn insane. And have background in soccer and the scouting and stuff. There's sometimes people in that world ask, well, what are these athletes that we're missing out on, that would be really impactful in soccer? It's athletes like this, like a Colin Sexton, even a Tyrese Maxey, who are very under control, very explosive, still strong, but have the speed. Those are the type of athletes I think that would be the gravy on top in the soccer world. I know that's kind of out there, but stuff that goes through my mind. incredible physical package of what he's able to do. I'm still in awe of Colin Sexton and the plays that he makes out there.
Well, and there's there's a moment where Bamba gets switched on to him on the offensive end and goes to post him up, and it's just like this is not the matchup this is not the mismatch you think it is,
It's
Bamba.
not what you think
Colin
it is.
Sexton is 7 feet in his mind,
At
and he
least
plays it
7 feet 280.
And Bamba kind of like goes to pop him, and Sexton kind of just roughs him up a little bit, and was kind of like, all right, never mind.
Damn, I won't do it. I guess.
So really fun game to watch from Colin Sexton. Good game by John Collins.
John Collins, absolutely
Efficient.
Very efficient. We used him much more as a roll man this game.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up, 8 of 9 from the field.
Got him a lot more in the open floor, which is where he can just excel.
We keep saying that we think that we have a team of athletic transition, but it only seems like we see it just on certain matchups. It doesn't seem like we really search it out. But man, we got him the ball early in space, and he ended up, I think in the first half, he had one miss, and all of his buckets but one were on dunks.
Right.
As we were sitting there counting them. So, but also a player that's able to stretch the floor. That was fun. Keontae had a little bang of the knee right there. Initially, we thought it was maybe an ankle, but it was just kind of inside of the knee, and that's why he was able to run it off. We did have a little stretch of, I think it was about 2 or 3 pick and rolls right in a row with Keontae running it.
Yes.
And the first one held the guy hostage, put it up perfectly for Kessler. Or was it Kessler or was it Collins? I can't remember. The second one, the roll man was covered a little bit more, and he just kind of took the little floater. The third one, he's driving on the left side and swings it over for a wide open 3 that was missed. Ping, ping, ping. 3 plays right in a row, pick and roll, a little bit of usage, correct decisions.
It may have been 4 because he ended up also getting a dunk on maybe 1 or 2 possessions later where he kind of came off the screen and read it as, I think it was Olynyk kind of stepped back to pop, and he just read it and lanes open and takes it and dunks it.
Could have been. I know that right after that last one where he passed it out to 3, somebody else took the next possession, which kind of blows my mind once again. But I really liked being able to see, and it was just effortless. And that's kind of some of the stuff we want to get back to. We want to be able to see him do a little bit more usage through him, make some of the decisions, make it so that during certain spells of the game, we can really use some of our roll men, some of our players and the talents they have, and let him develop as well. So that was fun to see. It's almost like we haven't seen that since he came back. Give him the ball, run some pick and roll. Almost like...
Why is that, Sean?
Well, when I think about it, it seems like you can't run the pick and roll when you're standing in the corner. It's harder.
Well, he tries to run the pick and roll sometimes, but also just has, is a second defender always on him.
Wearing our same uniform.
Yeah. So... But yeah, Keontae needs these moments. He doesn't need huge high usage, right? But allow moments throughout the game where he's really able to run the offense and create. I mean, he was averaging 5 assists a game as a starter. He was up for 6 or 7, in those stretches. There was a stretch of that where he was at 7, and it's like that's not a fluke. It's because he had higher usage and he was running our offense, and our offense looked good doing it.
It's interesting how we've gone in such, for a 7-game stretch, we'll do this. For a 10-game stretch, we'll do this. And then we go away from it completely. I don't know if it's because we have such a wide range of personnel that doesn't quite fit together like we've talked about.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. There was one stretch that really irritated me this game. And I think we all kind of yelled at the TV, that black box right there. Second quarter, end of the second quarter, and our starters are back in, and we are putting our foot on their throat.
We're playing well, offensively and defensively.
We are starting to flex out there. Chris Dunn is running around playing some killer defense. Sexton's doing his thing. Markkanen's hitting. John Collins is out there. Fontecchio's playing D. We're playing well, and all of a sudden, we bring Jordan Clarkson back in for Chris Dunn. And Clarkson had gone out probably...
couple minutes.
Yeah, 3-4 minutes before that. Had been in there for a long spell. That kind of blows my mind. That frustrates me that Hardy would think that in that moment we need another offensive piece and sacrifice the defensive piece, because it started to throw everything out of whack.
When we were rolling.
We were absolutely rolling. We were flexing and we were starting to put it on them. And when that happened, basically they drew back closer. It threw off our matchups with who we had on Maxey and how we were going to rotate
Right.
and handle the defensive end, and it didn't really help us offensively.
No, and that's the thing is it's not just putting a bad defender on the court. It's not just putting a selfish put your head down, not really run the offense player that just now messes up. It messes so many things up. Colin Sexton was running the offense, between him and Dunn, but Colin Sexton was really in a rhythm. I mean, he was up at like 8 or 9 assists already, was playing really well. Markman's getting easy looks. John Collins is getting just dunk after dunk, and then that happens, and all of a sudden we no longer are looking for any of that. We're just looking for one-on-one ISO ball. Defensively, Chris Dunn has shut down Tyrese Maxey up to this moment. Tyrese Maxey is struggling. Now we have to put Fontecchio on. Fontecchio is a solid defender. He's a really good defender against wings.
Yep.
Not threes and fours, not a point guard shooting guard like Tyrese Maxey. And now
Maxey's lightning quick point guard.
And now he has to try to slow him down, which then it just shifts. Like you said, everything shifts because of that on how our matchups happen, and it threw the entire team into a funk.
What an absolute garbage decision substitution. What the hell?
Yeah, because it wasn't like Clarkson was having a killer game. Clarkson was playing average at best.
Below average.
Yes, he on offense, average at best. He was not having a good game, and his energy was fantastic as always on defense. And Chris Dunn is playing fantastic on the defense side of the court, and our offense is not being hurt by it. And so it was just kind of like, what are we doing? It's seriously, Clarkson's available for trade in a couple hours, and we have to trade him strictly to save Will Hardy from himself.
That substitution right there makes me lean more towards what you just said. That sounds like a weird statement, but my goodness, that substitution blew my mind. Why would we do that?
And in that stretch, end of the first half, may have been one of the worst damn plays I've ever seen in my life. We have a freaking, like a 3-on-1 fast break that Clarkson's running, the fast break. And Kessler's wide open for a dunk, and Collins is wide open on the wing. And it was like, nope. I got to see if I can get a shot, Jeff. Nope. Okay, fine, I'll throw it. And it's so late that Batum just grabs it, and they get a wide open dunk, fast break, 1 second left on the clock. And that in itself is a momentum shift. It just, like I said, it makes more sense on nights where he's maybe on fire or anything like that, but just not having he's playing horrible defensively and having an average game on the offense side of the court.
That play stood out more to you than the one where he heaved the basketball across the court, looked like a kind of a Scottish Highlanders rock toss.
Throws it into the fifth row.
10 rows up, man. It was worth than that play. I would like to submit another candidate for worst play of the game.
Yeah, tonight I was extra yell at the TV for stupid decision after stupid decision by him.
There were quite a few that stood out. The substitution right there really irritates me, though, because we were flowing in the right way. Everybody was looking for each other. It was those five have kind of come together,
right,
and are playing nicely. And to throw that out there and break that all up, that blows my mind. I'm trying to break it down and understand in my mind why we would do that.
And once again, we are just stifling Keontae George's development right now. Ochai Agbaji's development. That dude is a shell of who he was because he's playing super low minutes and just standing in the corner and not doing anything else.
Every time he's in there with Clarkson and Olynyk. They have him run that early screen or the fake dribble handoff, because Olynyk will never pass it to him, even though when he's beat his guy and rounded him, Olynyk never looks for him. He's a decoy on every time. He doesn't get a chance to handle the ball. He was showing progress in dribbling to the basket. He was showing progress in pulling up and taking some mid-ranges. And he simply doesn't get the touches other than a three-pointer here and there. And you can tell that his confidence has gone down the tubes.
Yep.
All of a sudden, not hitting the shots. It's absolutely manufactured the results that we're seeing out of him, the playing time and the people that he's on the court with has absolutely manufactured that result.
And it's the same exact reason on why Keontae George went from 5, 6, 7 assists a game to 1 or 2 assists a game. Because even when he has the ball, he consistently has one option. Because Clarkson is consistently on his hip, like you said, about 10 feet away. And so he can't go that way. There will always be a defender that way. So he either has a pull-up or force right. So the defenders just stick here every time. It's super easy to defend at that point.
And we're not running any pick and rolls.
Yep.
It's just basically trying to run a 5-out. Kessler's in there with him sometimes, but a lot of times it's 5-out, just kind of everybody on the outside, and ends up just passing it to Clarkson or Olynyk. Basically, those are the two that get all the touches.
ISO ball and hope for the best. So it was good to see the little bit of stretch, where he did get to run the pick and rolls, and all of a sudden, ta-da! That's the dude that we saw before he got hurt.
And Philadelphia looked helpless. It was so easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was effortless.
So good win. Like, our team overall, for the most part, played really well tonight. Besides those couple players, we almost won in spite of them, because we were playing way more of what we had been playing during this stretch, where we've been playing much better, where we're moving the ball, letting our defense lead to offense, and more of a mucked up game, it feels like, for the other team, but our team's in a much better rhythm because we're getting more fast breaks and things like that. For the most part of this game, that's what we got. And
Markkanen was dominant. And so it really felt like we had the upper hand the entire time, even when they were hanging with us.
And this is the thing, this shows how high level Markkanen can be, where he can just kind of not casually, but easily get 30 points without having to go in a take 30 shots, take over mode. And so the rest of the players are all involved as well.
So he ended up having 31 points on 19 shots.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's hard to do. 31 points on 19 shots. Hitting his outside shots, going to the rim, being strong.
He had a crazy dunk on a fast break over Bamba, where he just jumped so early, but didn't explode to where it's kind of like, this dude's not dunking this. So that's like Giannis. That was like a Giannis kind of step through, just extend, use that length. That was nice to see out of him.
Man, physical specimen to be able to pull that off. And it shows that this Sixers team, who are considered to be kind of somewhat contenders, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're in second place in the East right now. Missing basically one player, Joel Embiid, who's last year's MVP.
Yeah, MVP caliber player, no question.
But it shows kind of the pieces around him aren't that super great.
Yeah.
I would dare say that our pieces, if we were to add an Embiid, which is a huge what if, right? We're playing what if. But I think that our pieces are much better around all that than what Philadelphia has around him. Tyrese Maxey's a really good player, up-and-coming talent. He's going to be a monster that grows. But
beyond that,
I don't think that there's that much there.
Oubre can go on scoring punches here and there. Paul Reed's a solid backup big, but there's not really any players that come out that is going to be, that feels like it can be like a Fontecchio, for example, who can all of a sudden come out and have a really good defensive game and also light you up from three-point line and everything like that. Or, just those players who have in their own ways ability to really control a game and help win.
It's true. And before this game, we were 12th place in the West, one game behind the Lakers in 11th. I don't think they played tonight. I think the Warriors are another half game ahead. So I think after this win, we are a half game out of 11th place, and I think it's one game out of 10th place with the Lakers and the Warriors, who are plummeting heavily. And
in LeBron's own words, Lakers suck right now.
Which we've always said. I have always said that even the years they've won the championship. Personally.
Fair. That's fine.
Just my assessment of the Lakers, even when they are hoisting the
We
trophy.
should give them Taylor Horton Tucker back.
I accept your terms. I didn't hear the rest of it, but I accept. So, still doing decent in the middle of a very tough road trip. So we have Milwaukee on Monday, who once again are a super strong offensive team, but not dominant defensively like they've been in the past. And this is a type of a team where we can usually, if we're playing our stuff, we can hang with a team like that more than playing a defensive team that also plays well on offense, kind of like the buzzsaw we ran into in Boston. So,
yeah.
Once again, looking for the signs out of Monday's game.
I'll be really curious to see what we do matchup-wise against the Bucks. Who we match up? Do we have Markkanen match up against Giannis? And then Chris Dunn on Damian Lillard. How do we do rotations? But it seems like our rotations don't really change from game to game. But we'll see on how we handle that.
So does that put John Collins on Lopez?
Or do we start Kessler because we need the size? I don't know. We'll have to see on Monday. That's an interesting one to me. But like you said, even if we end up just 1-2 on this 3-game road stretch, as long as we see successful signs going through the games. Last night against the Celtics, there was just really nothing good there.
It was
tonight. There was a lot more good than bad. There was still a lot of bad of things that need to be changed, but a lot more good. I mean, part of that comes with Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen having great games.
Absolutely. And just begging Will Hardy that when we have stretches when we're finishing games or finishing a quarter, we don't have to sacrifice our defensive toughness to put in a frilly offensive person.
Yes.
100%. We do not have to do that.
100%.
Stay with the defensive toughness when you have Sexton and Markkanen and John Collins, everybody playing well, and we're putting it to them. We don't have to have points manufactured out of somewhere. It screws everything else up.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if it's a situation where Clarkson's on fire or another player is absolutely torching it, sure. But if we're playing well defensively and we have that squad in there, we don't have to make that.
If we're making a run with 3 to 4 minutes left in the half or the game, don't change anything.
Runs are good.
Yes.
Good.
And who knows? Monday might be a much different conversation on this team.
Merry January 7th.
Yes, this is a date we've been looking forward to.
Why?
And may lose my mind if we don't see anything over the next few weeks. Obviously, I'm not necessarily expecting something to happen tonight, but it is something that I think all of us Jazz fans will be keeping an eye on. Like you said, if we don't make any moves by trade deadline, one, what's the point? What direction are we really going with this team? And two, oh man, it's gonna be hard to watch those games. Just because, right? There's no at that point. There's where are we going? What is the plan?
Might have a little bit of a darker tone to the shows.
No kidding.
Dressed in black, that kind of thing.
I can do that. It's my normal attire.
It's true.
Actually, that's not true. I wear green basically.
Greens and grays.
But yeah, we'll see what happens Monday. Tough game, and then back home for 6 games against the Nuggets first. So this is a really tough stretch right now. So Monday. Thanks, guys.